You are standing in line, shoeless, beltless, holding a plastic bin that looks like it hasn't been cleaned since 2005. You have done this 100 times. You know the drill. Laptop out, liquids in a quart-sized bag. Jacket off, but then, the person in front of you gets pulled aside. Their bag is dismantled. A TSA agent is holding up a bottle of expensive shampoo that looks perfectly fine to you. And suddenly, it's in the trash. The traveler is arguing. The line is stalling. And you are checking your watch because your gate closes in 20 minutes. Now, imagine that same scenario. But the rules have completely inverted. You leave your laptop in. You keep your shoes on. You have a full-sized water bottle in your bag. But you still get stopped. Why? Because you missed the memo on the massive regulatory shift hitting airports right now and finalizing around 2026. The era of the 311 rule is ending, but it is being replaced by a fragmented, high-tech landscape that is actually more confusing than the old days if you aren't paying attention. We are entering the age of computed tomography, biometric corridors, and self-service screening. If you think you can autopilot your way through security in 2026 based on what you knew in 2024, you are going to get caught. You are going to lose your stuff, and you might miss your flight. Let's break down exactly what is changing, why the technology is a double-edged sword, and how you can bulletproof your carry-on game for the next few years of chaos. To understand where we are going, we have to understand the machine that is changing everything. For the last 2 decades, we have been relying on standard X-ray technology. It creates a flat, 2-dimensional image. It's effective, but it's dumb. It can't tell the difference between a block of plastic explosive and a block of mild cheddar cheese without help. That is why you have to take your laptop out, because the dense battery blocks the X-rays from seeing what is underneath it. That is why liquids are limited, because the machine can't analyze the chemical composition of the fluid. So we rely on volume limits to mitigate the threat. Enter the CT scanner. You have heard of these in hospitals. Computed tomography. Instead of a flat picture. These new scanners, which are rolling out aggressively across the US, UK, and Europe, take hundreds of X-rays while spinning around your bag. They create a perfect, rotatable 3D image. The TSA agent can virtually unzip your bag, rotate the image on a touchscreen, and slice through layers of clothing digitally. But more importantly, these machines use sophisticated algorithms to calculate density and atomic number. They know that the liquid in your bottle is water, not liquid explosive. This is the tech that promised us the holy grail of travel, keeping your liquids inside the bag and, eventually, lifting the 100 milliliters or 3/4 ounce limit entirely. And this is exactly where the trap is set for 2026. Here is the situation. Governments promised that by 2025 or 2026, the liquid ban would be gone. The UK set a deadline. Airports installed the scanners. And then, everything fell apart. In the summer of 2024, the UK government abruptly reintroduced the 100 milliliters limit at airports that had already scrapped it. Why? Because the software wasn't reliable enough yet. It turned out that certain cosmetic containers and densities were triggering false alarms, causing massive delays because every bag had to be hand-searched. So, as we head into 2026, we are landing in a gray zone. This is the most dangerous time for travelers. You might fly out of a major hub like Atlanta or London Heathrow where the new scanners are working perfectly, and you are told, leave your liquids in, keep your laptop packed. You feel great. You buy a large bottle of sunscreen or a fancy local hot sauce at your destination. Then, you try to fly back through a smaller regional airport, or a major international hub that has paused the rollout. And suddenly you are flagged. You are forced to throw away $50 worth of merchandise because you assumed the rules were universal. They are not. For the next few years, the rule of thumb is strictly lowest common denominator. Even if TSA says they are testing unlimited liquids in your lane, pack as if the 3-1-1 rule is still in full effect unless you are 100% certain of the return leg. The inconsistency is the new normal. We are moving from a standardized global system to a patchwork of technology capabilities. Let's talk about the electronics, because this is changing too. and it involves a serious safety risk that most people ignore. The laptop out rule is vanishing thanks to those CT scanners. We are already seeing this in pre-check lanes and many standard lanes. But while the laptop rule is relaxing, the rules around lithium batteries are tightening. And this is where people get caught. Smart luggage was a massive trend a few years ago. Suitcases with built-in chargers, GPS trackers, and scales. But airlines and regulators realized that lithium-ion batteries are prone to something called thermal runaway. If that battery gets damaged or overheats in the cargo hold, it starts a fire that the suppression systems cannot put out. By 2026, the crackdown on non-removable smart tech will be absolute. If you have a carry-on with a built-in battery that cannot be popped out with a single click, you might be denied boarding. We are seeing stricter enforcement where gate agents ask you to demonstrate that the battery comes out before they let you bring the bag on board, even if you intend to keep it in the overhead bin. If the bin space runs out and you have to gate check your bag, and that battery doesn't come out, you are not flying. This extends to portable power banks. There is a capacity limit, usually 100 watt-hours WH. Most standard phone chargers are fine, but if you are a creator carrying massive power stations for laptops or cameras, you need to check the WH rating. Security agents are getting better at reading those tiny labels. If it's over the limit and you don't have prior airline approval, it's gone. Now, let's pivot to the most dystopian and convenient change coming your way: biometrics. Your face is becoming your boarding pass. We are seeing the rollout of Delta Digital ID, United's biometric bag drop, and the TSA's touchless identity solution. By 2026, the goal is a walking pace airport experience. You enroll your face in the app. You walk up to bag drop, a camera scans you, matches you to your passport on file, and prints the tag. You walk to security, a camera scans you, opens the gate, and you don't even show your ID. You walk onto the plane, a camera scans you. No boarding pass, no driver's license in hand. This sounds amazing for speed, but here is the don't get caught aspect: data discrepancies and the Real ID Act. The United States has pushed the Real ID deadline back multiple times, but the hammer is finally coming down. If your driver's license doesn't have that little star in the corner, you will not get through TSA. Biometric or not, you will need a passport. And with the biometric systems, the matching relies on high-quality data. If you recently changed your name, or if the photo on your ID is 15 years old and you look significantly different, the facial recognition algorithms can fail. When the algorithm fails in a fully automated lane, you enter exception handling. This is airport speak for you stand in the penalty box for 45 minutes waiting for a supervisor. As we move toward 2026, ensure your digital identity matches your physical documents perfectly. If you wear glasses, take them off for the scan. If you changed your hair significantly, be prepared for a manual check. And most importantly, do not assume that because you have Face ID set up, you can leave your physical ID at home. System outages happen. If the network goes down and you don't have your physical plastic card, you are stranded. Speaking of speed, we have to talk about the self-service screening prototypes currently live in Las Vegas and rolling out elsewhere. This looks like the checkout lane at a grocery store. You walk up to a pod. You put your own tray in. You walk through. If you clear, automatic gates open. If you trigger an alarm, you are trapped in the pod until an agent comes over. The psychology here is different. In a normal line, if you forget a water bottle, the agent yells water bottle and tosses it. In a self-service pod, the system freezes. You become the bottleneck. The machine gives you feedback on a screen telling you where the threat is. You have to resolve it yourself. This requires a level of traveler competence that many people don't have. The pressure is higher. If you are the type of person who leaves keys in your pocket or forgets to take off a chunky belt, these self-service lanes will be a nightmare for you. They are designed for the expert traveler. If you opt into these lanes to save time but you aren't prepped, you will actually lose time. Now, I want to take a second to emphasize something truly important here. If you are finding value in this breakdown and you want to stay ahead of the curve on travel logistics, tech, and lifestyle design, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel immensely, and it ensures you don't miss the next deep dive. We are building a community of smarter travelers here, and I'd love for you to be part of it. Back to the packing strategy. Let's talk about the powder rule. This is a sleeper rule that catches people constantly, even if the liquid ban is relaxed. The powder rule is getting stricter. TSA and international security usually flag powder containers over 12 ounces, roughly the size of a standard soda can. This includes protein powder, coffee, spices, and makeup setting powders. With the new CT scanners, organic powders can look very similar to certain explosives in terms of density. If you pack a giant tub of protein powder in your carry-on, the CT scanner might not be able to clear it automatically. They will have to open your bag and chemically test a sample. By 2026, as these sensors get more sensitive, I highly recommend checking all powders or buying them at your destination. If you must carry them, pack them in a clear bag at the very top of your luggage, ready to be pulled out, just like we used to do with liquids. Another major shift for 2026 is the crackdown on duty-free transit. This is a classic trap. You buy a 1-liter bottle of whiskey in the duty-free shop in Tokyo. They put it in a sealed, tamper-evident bag stub. You fly to Los Angeles, but you have a connecting flight to Denver. In the past, you had to exit customs, pick up your bag, and clear security. That bottle of whiskey? It's more than 3-4 ounces, even in the sealed bag. If the TSA agent at the check doesn't have the right scanner or simply doesn't care to deal with the paperwork, that bottle is trash. With the new CT scanners, theoretically, these bottles should be allowed to stay in your bag. But again, inconsistency. Until the policy is universally adopted and every single lane has the new tech, you are gambling with your expensive duty-free goods. The strategy: if you have a connecting flight in the US after an international arrival, put the duty-free liquid in your checked luggage during the check process. Do not try to carry it through the domestic security checkpoint unless you are willing to lose it. Let's go deeper into the smart lane concept. We are seeing a bifurcation of travelers. There is the trusted traveler and the unknown. By 2026, the gap between these two experiences will be the size of the Grand Canyon. If you do not have pre-check or global entry, you are going to be subjected to the older, slower technology for longer. The new machines and the smooth biometric flows are being installed in the pre-check lanes first. There is a misconception that pre-check is just about keeping your shoes on. No, in 2026, pre-check is about data trust. The TSA is moving toward risk-based screening. If you are a known entity with a background check, the sensitivity of the machines might literally be dialed down for you. You are less of a threat. If you are unknown, the machine is dialed to maximum sensitivity. This means more false alarms, more pat-downs, and more bag searches. If you fly more than once a year, the $78 or so for 5 years is no longer a luxury. It is the price of admission for a functioning airport experience. And we need to talk about the prohibited list because it evolves. One item that is causing increasing issues is the self-defense category: pepper spray, tactical pens, and cat ear keychains, which are considered brass knuckles. As automated detection gets better, it spots these things instantly. You used to be able to accidentally leave a small pepper spray in your purse and maybe get through. Not anymore. The AI image recognition highlights these shapes in bright red on the agent's screen. But what about food? This is the most common question. Can I bring my lasagna? Technically, yes. But here is the physics problem. Food can be a liquid, a solid, or a gel. Peanut butter is a liquid. Hummus is a liquid. Soft cheese is a liquid. If you can spread it, smear it, or pump it, it is subject to the 3-1-1 rule. The CT scanners are ruthless about density. A solid block of frozen chili is fine, but if it melts a little bit by the time you hit security, it's a liquid. In 2026, I predict we will see a food lane or specific guidelines asking you to remove food from your bag. Why? Because organic mass food looks exactly like organic mass explosives to an X-ray. It clutters the image. even with 3D scanning. A bag full of snacks triggers the "I need a human to look at this" flag. The number one way to speed up your security experience is to minimize the amount of organic material in your carry-on. Eat before you fly. Buy snacks at the gate. If you have a bag full of energy bars and sandwiches, you are statistically much more likely to get pulled for a secondary search. So, how do we construct the perfect 20226 proof carry-on? First, the bag itself. Hard shell is better for the new bin systems. The automated bin return systems ASL are aggressive. Soft bags with straps hanging off get caught in the rollers. If your bag gets jammed, it shuts down the whole lane, and everyone hates you. Get a sleek, four-wheeled spinner with no loose straps. Ensure the battery is removable. Second, the tech pouch. Do not scatter your cables and chargers. The new scanners like organization. High-density clutter confuses the algorithm. If you have a rat's nest of wires, hard drives, and batteries all balled up, the machine can't see through it. Lay them out flat in a tech organizer. It looks better, and it scans better. Third, the liquids. Just in case, keep using the clear bag. Even if the rule is lifted in your departure city, it might be in force at your destination. And frankly, it's just cleaner. But upgrade from a Ziploc to a high-quality, durable silicone bag. It stands up on its own, which is helpful if you do have to take it out. Fourth, your attire. The body scanners are changing too. They use millimeter wave technology. They look for anomalies on your body. Baggy clothes, cargo pants with many pockets, and heavy jewelry trigger these machines. In 2026, the airport uniform should be streamlined. Joggers, slip-on shoes even if you have pre-check. Sometimes the metal shank in a boot sets off the detector. And minimal layers. There is also a rising trend of gate-side checks for carry-ons. Flights are fuller. Overhead bins are not getting bigger fast enough. Even if your bag is technically compliant with the sizer, you might be forced to check it. This brings us back to the lithium battery. Always pack your battery bank in a spot where you can grab it in 5 seconds. If you are forced to gate check your bag and you hold up the line digging for your battery, it is a stress you don't need. Let's look at the global entry vs. mobile passport control debate for 2026. Global entry is great, but it costs money and requires an interview. Mobile Passport Control MPC is a free app from US Customs. In many airports, the MPC line is actually shorter than the global entry line. As we move forward, digital submission of your customs form via your phone is going to be the standard. Download the MPC app now. It is the best kept secret in travel. You fill out your info when you land, get a QR code, and breeze through. What about privacy? This is the elephant in the room. As we adopt facial recognition for everything from bag drop to boarding, we are building a massive surveillance infrastructure. Currently, in the US, you have the right to opt out of the biometric photo at TSA. You can tell the officer, "I want a manual ID check." They have to honor it. But in 2026, it might become much harder. The manual line will be the slow line. They will incentivize you to give up your face data in exchange for speed. This is the trade-off of modern travel: convenience for privacy. We are already seeing it with Clear, the private company that uses your biometrics to skip the ID line. As technology improves, the government is essentially building its own version of Clear. The question is, will you resist and wait in line, or will you scan and walk? Let's also touch on the smartwatch and smart glasses factor. Wearable tech is exploding. In the past, you could keep your watch on. Now, with bulky ultra watches and smart glasses that have cameras and batteries, security officers are asking for them to be removed more often. Treat your smart glasses like a phone. Put them in the bag. Don't wear them through the scanner. Finally, the psychological aspect of don't get caught. The biggest delay at security is anxiety. People panic, they forget the rules, they fumble. The best way to handle the 2026 security landscape is to be ruthlessly prepared. When you approach that conveyor belt, your phone should be in your bag, your pockets should be empty, and your ID should be in your hand or your face ready to scan. The travelers who get caught are the ones who assume nothing has changed. They bring the 6-ounce toothpaste because my friend said the ban was lifted. They leave the laptop in the bag in a lane that doesn't have a CT scanner yet. They argue with the officer. The golden rule for 2026 is compliance is faster than correctness. Even if you know the rule says you can bring something, if the officer says no, you say okay and move on. Arguing with a federal agent in an era of heightened security and AI surveillance is a losing battle. The goal is to get to the other side. Get your coffee and get on the plane. To wrap this up, 2026 isn't just about new rules, it's about a new mindset. We are transitioning from analog to digital, from human check to AI scanned. The liquid bans are fading, but the complexity is rising. The machines are smarter, but the system is more fragile. If you treat travel like a sport where preparation is key, you will glide through while others are stuck arguing over a bottle of lotion. I want to hear from you guys down in the comments. What is your absolute worst TSA horror story? Have you encountered the new CT scanners yet? And did they actually speed things up? Or was it a disaster? And seriously, how do you feel about the biometric face scan replacing your boarding pass? Is it a cool upgrade or a privacy nightmare? Let me know.